Okay guys, it's good to be back on track. And there's only two things that you really got to understand. And if you get these two things down and accept them and say and go on, you'll be the best that you can be, period. Okay? And the two things are, most of us, okay, there's three types of players. There's the upper core, middle core, and lower core. Everyone that's watching me, except maybe a few, and I don't even know who you are, but if you're a middle core or lower core, just click the button off, because I don't understand you, okay? And what I'm going to say is, you won't understand me either, so don't even waste your time. Most of us are upper core players. What does that mean? That means that most of our movement comes in our shoulders. And what moves our shoulders is our torso, okay? It's not our core, and it's not the ground forces and all that bullshit, okay? We play up here, we play up top, we play with this turning these things. Understand that and accept it and say, okay, anybody that's teaching you lower core or middle core crap, there's the rabbit hole. Because you'll go there, and like I said in the last video, then you'll just get worse and worse. So that's up to you if you want to go there or not. That's number one. Number two, you remember the 4 principles of vertical balanced golf: stillness, stability, being level, and neutral. If you just understand one of those, and the one that you need to understand is neutral, the other 3 are givens, okay? If you understand neutral. Now, let me give you an example of neutral. Let me sit down here. Come on. We got this golf club, right? Well, it's not a baseball bat. No, it's a golf club. You got the left side of the shaft, the right side of the shaft, the top and the bottom. You want a neutral grip on the club. Yeah, and then you gotta, you know how left-handers, everything's a mirror. Well, even for left-handers, the left side of the shaft and the right side of the shaft are all the same. Imagine that. But anyway, I digress. What you want is a neutral grip. What do I mean by a neutral grip? You need to have your hands, if you're a right-hander, you need to have your lead hand or your top hand on the left side of the grip. With your trail hand, you need to have the hand on the right side of the grip. Now, that is neutral. Everybody will say that is weak. No, a weak grip is when you take your left hand and move it to the bottom of the grip, and you take your right hand and move it to the top. That's weak. This is neutral. A strong grip would be if you took the lead hand and moved it on top of the shaft and moved your trail hand on the bottom. That's strong. We want neutral. That's one sign of neutral. Okay, you gotta have neutral. All right, now what's another thing? Another thing would be ball position. Ball position, if I'm just standing here and I do like this, I'm not neutral. If I'm just standing straight up with my knees locked, here's the middle of me, and here's the middle of me, and in the middle of me, the ball needs to be. That's neutral. If the ball is left of center of you or right of center of you, it's not neutral. That's another sign of neutral. Now, when you grip the club in a neutral fashion, you will notice, watch my right shoulder. My right shoulder will dip a little bit. Well, when that dips, what does that do to my spine angle? it tilts it just a hair. That's neutral, okay? Now, with that not being known, what you need to do, and I'm not trying to get into a bunch of little microcosm details here, but you need to do this. When you take your grip and your shoulder goes down and you tilt this way, that means that your spine angle is now a little bit like this. See how it is? Now if I stood straight up, it's like this, but if I grip the club, it's got a little tilt to it. That's the way that shaft needs to be tilted. It needs to be tilted slightly back away from the target line to line up with your sternum, and that is another neutral, okay? When I take the club back, so this part of my hand right here, let me get in here where you can see it, right here, right at the bottom of the joint of my thumb, I've got a neutral grip, right? When I take that club, as I take that club back, that point can't be rolling. It can't be turning under. It's got to stay neutral. It's got to stay in the middle of me, the way I set it up, all the way back and all the way to the top. And when I get to the top, I should be able to look back, and this point on my thumb that I showed you just now, I ought to be looking at it dead straight now. Now, how do I know I'm neutral? Well, all I got to do is drop the club down like this and turn, and guess what? I'm right back into my setup position. If you take the club away like this and you do the same thing, well, my thumb's way over there, I can't even see it, and I lay the club down and now I turn back to it, look where the club is. That ain't neutral. So what I'm saying, guys, is pay attention to the things that make you neutral, and the other three principles are going to be, they're just givens, okay? They're just automatic to you. And that is called balance. And when you're in balance, now then your motion can be in balance and you won't be struggling. So go try that out. That'll help you a lot. But you got other neutral things that you need to recognize also, okay? And you'll find those out as you go along. If you'll pay attention to what I just told you, you'll pick up on other stuff that needs to be, and that you will recognize are neutral. Thanks.